Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a Mortal Realms painting video. It's been a long time, but as per usual, if you like these videos, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and drop a comment down below. Now as you can see, that Lord-Exorcist that we had a couple of issues ago is done. He's painted in the Lions of Sigmar paint scheme to fit in with the rest of the Stormcaster tunnels that I've been painting recently, and he's based ready to go. There's a few little things I need to touch up, like the edge of that base and some parts of the back of the robes as well, which will help him stand out a lot better and make him look a lot cooler. Now, as with all of these Stormcasts, I must admit I probably over complicate things and put a lot of steps in there, but you paint it how you want to. But for this paint scheme, you're going to need a decent amount of time and effort to put into it if you want to paint with a little bit as much detail as you feel like putting in. Now, let's crack on, shall we? So I've started off with Mechanicus standard grade base coat as per usual, and I'm just laying over that Retributor armour. Looks pretty decent, makes Sigmarite look really cool, and you can get going with it quite easily. Now just make sure you go over all them armoured areas and parts of the staff and stuff like that as well, and the sword hilt and pommel as well. Now once that's all dry, just literally layer over Reikland Flesh Shade, or you can use Seraphim Sepia if you wish to use Seraphim Sepia, or even Agrak Surfshade if you want to use Agrak Surfshade. Each one will give you a slightly different outcome to that metallic look. Personally, I think Retributor armour and Reikland Flesh Shade make a very warm kind of metallic look together. And then once all that's dry brush over Retributor armour back over the entire lot. You don't need to go too heavy with it. If you go too heavy, you can destroy all that warmth that you put into it with Reikland Flesh Shade. If you go quite lightly, it just buffs out that gold. Now for that staff, I've painted up the handle in Corn Red, layered over with Reikland Flesh Shade. Once that was dry, I layered in some grey white from Vallejo into the inside bit and for that ghost that's been trapped, and then layer over with Nilikai Oxide over the top, and it starts to look pretty decent. And then for the Ceremonial Robes, I've layered over with Wraithbone over the top, and the same with the pages of a book that he's holding, and layer over with Seraphim Sepia. It adds a little bit of depth to it, a little bit of warmth and a little bit of darkness in the right places. And then just layer back over with Wraithbone. For the pages of a book though, if you want a cleaner looking book like I've gone for, just literally layer over it with Corax White or Vallejo Grey White or something like that, and it'll look pretty good. Speaking of Vallejo Grey White, I'm layering up the inside of a cloak as white. It looks pretty decent, looks quite clean cut and looks quite nice, and I'm just layering over Vallejo Grey White over the entire lot. I do this with one coat. If you thin down your paint too much, you might need to do multiple, and then layer over Apothecary White over the top to get that grey look in between each fold, and your job is pretty much almost done. All you need to do is get that into the recess, and it makes it look a lot better. It looks a little bit shadowed as well, and then literally highlight areas with the white paint, so your Vallejo white paint or your Corax White or anything like that. You can literally get going with that over the top of the erased areas and smooth it all out and keep that grey in the recesses. Then for the rear of the cloak, I'm using Nagaroth Knight as well to keep it going and fitting into with the Lions of Sigmar. You also use this on the shoulder pads as well, and any areas where you want it to look like it's enamel. Get going with it all, layer it into all them recesses and have a bit of fun. Just make sure you don't ruin the rest of your model by going over some edges. And then all I'm using is Xerius Purple over the large flat areas. This helps massively, highlights it very well without your use of a shade, which can darken it and can make it look a bit congealed and a bit horrible at the same time. And you're just going to need to take your time with it. Take your time with it, get all them areas, and it'll look pretty decent at the end of it. And then for the edge highlights, I'm just using Genestealer Purple, just in the right areas, This kind of gets it going, keeps it nice and neat, and makes everything stand out a little tiny bit more. Now, if you want to add a little bit of extra flavour to the kind of the back of that cloak, literally add some Slaanesh grey into some very, very small areas, and it will work very, very well with it. What you can also do over the staff and the hilt, the kind of like the handle of the sword, essentially, the grip, you can layer over with, let's say, corn red, Reikland flesh shade over the top, and then dry brush over some Mephiston red very, very lightly, and it'll pick out all them raised areas as well. And yeah, you happy days. If you wish to as well, you have the option to add a little bit of kind of detail to the book. Writing that small is going to be nigh on impossible, so what you can do is just literally get a little very tiny dot of a bad and black over the tip, on the tip of a very fine tip brush, and literally just make a little squiggle, make it look like writing. Happy days. You draw a picture if you really want to, so you can try and add a picture of a demon, or like what I did, I attempted a twin tail comet to signify Sigmar, and away you pretty much go. And the end result, as you can see, isn't too bad. It's not bad. There's a few little areas that I need to neaten up, but otherwise I am very, very happy with the model. I'm happy to finally have a painting video done for you guys as well. Now, with all these, of course, I appreciate your feedback, so if you have any comments, just leave them down below. By all means, you can catch me on Instagram, you can catch me on Twitter, and you can catch me on Facebook if you really, really wish to as well. And I will see you very soon. Bye bye now.